Hey there, Rhoda here. Welcome to my craft room. Today I'm going to try something new. It's a new series I thought of called This Old House. And I'm going to pick houses that mean something to me over the years and try to reproduce them on paper. This here is the Hauser house. This is where my mom lived when she was about in seventh grade, and it was a ghosty house. So I'll tell you all about that as I'm creating this. And it didn't look like this. She said it was white and it had black trim. So we're going to try to use some of these papers, and I got some windows because these were singles. So you got to do a little asking and stuff to see if the house was originally like what you see it. So anyhow, I've got these little pieces of rail here, and I'm going to start to try to assemble my rail for my porch. And I'll get right back with you. Okay, I thought I'd show you how I'm going to lay out my stair rail. I mean, my railing for my porch. I've got like a 1/4 inch cut piece, or they may be 3/8. They're a little shorter than a quarter. And then these are an eighth. And what I did is I inked the bottom edge to give it a little bit of depth. And I did the same on the railings because I'm going to pretend that the sun is coming from the left and the shading needs to be on the right. That's how you look at it. Okay. And then I'll put a couple of these down and show you how I'm going to start it. And then I'll cut to where I've finished it. And I'm just dotting the top and the bottom. And I'm going to just start here where this line is. And it looks like, yeah. And you got to kind of judge how the dimensions and depth of everything is when you're building your house. I love to make stuff out of paper and try to recreate things. I think that's why I like junk journaling so much. And then what we're going to do is assemble everything once it's all together. And I think I'll do it that far apart. But just use your eye and see what you would like to do. And if this looks like it's too hard, just choose you an easier house. All right, I'm going to keep doing this and I'll be right back. Okay, I've got my porch basically done. I was just going for a simple look. I had sprayed some white cardstock paper. I didn't want it white. I wanted it to be kind of rustic looking. But what we're doing next is we're going to go in and mark off where we want to cut this vellum. And the reason I want to use some vellum is because I want this to be a pocket. It's going to be a little shallow pocket, but it'll still be a pocket. And we're going to cut a piece off and glue it to the back side of where the rails are. So I'll know exactly where I want to cut it by doing that. And let me go to the cutter and I'll be right back. Okay, I have my two little pieces cut out here. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a little tap, tap, tap on the back here and put it down. I only need to go around the outside edge. And Barely Arts glue, it's pretty good with vellum. It doesn't make it wrinkle like some glues do. So we want to get that as centered as possible. And that's going to really work to help me be able to put a photo in there later on. There we go. Do the other one. I may have to trim this one off. I was a little long on the other one. Nope, I think we're fine. Okay. And like I said, this was the house Mom lived in when she was about in seventh grade. And all the family would come over and they would play cards at night. They'd play in this room over here. Let me pull it over. They'd play in this room over here to the right. The downstairs dining room's what she told me it was. And Mom's bedroom was here in the middle. It's like you go in and there was a stairway. It went up the stairs and it was just open area, and that was where her little bed was, and that's where she would sleep at night. And then her Granddaddy Everette's room was over here to the left. And let me see which way I want to go now. I'm wanting to create the front of my house. So let me start measuring that out. And I have not measured it out yet. The thing is, I took this piece and I put extra boards in it so it would look like the white part of the front of the house. Get those out of the way. And this is going to be my piece that it's going to go on. The way it's going to work is you're going to use this whole page, front and back. And my idea is to have the front of the house on here, where you'd look at it from the outside, and then you'd flip the page back, and you would see a scene of something in the lower part of the house here, or outside of the house. I haven't, each one may be a little different, but you turn it over here and you may see something. So that's the way I'm planning to go about it, and I thought it would be kind of an interesting look. Now the house itself is not going to take up this whole page, so I'm going to make the bottom wide enough to have a railing in the doorway, and the edge, it looks about right to me. I'm going to play with these dimensions, I can tell you that. So let me cut this in half where I need it to be, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've got that figured out. I cut my two sides. I wanted it to be where it looked like it almost matched up, and the door will be down here, so that'll hide this part that's not matching. So I wanted it to be almost the width of the paper, and actually where I cut that'll be a great folding spot too, because as you can see, I put them both together with a piece of washi tape and just glued that down. So that will be a good area that will fold. I didn't even think about that. See how it turns out. And then this piece here will be for the top. As you can see, it's the part right here where these windows will be. Actually, that's going to be not wide enough for my windows, but oh well. I'll work with it. But what we're going to do now, I had chose this piece of paper, and I've cut it down to where I needed it to be, because this is going to be the roof, and I've made it to where it'll work to be both pieces of the roof. As you can see, there's one here over the porch, and there's one up on the top. And they've got these two little pieces that come down. I guess that's the original makeup of the house. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this up here like that to give the impression, because we're looking at it face on, whereas this is sort of to the side. So you're almost going to look like it's coming from that direction. Yeah, my windows are not going to quite work for the top part of the house, but maybe I can make it work. I'll have to think about that for a minute. Maybe I can just cut them down. They don't have to be that size. They could be smaller. We'll do that. Because we know these aren't the original windows, so it's hard to tell what size windows they originally had. But up here on the top, this was her cousin's bedroom. Then there was an empty room in the middle, and then there was another bedroom. So this house had a lot of bedrooms. And what it looks like it has some stairs that come down off of the porch, and maybe one of those trellis railing kind of a things. So what I'm going to do is, I got this from Michael's, and it's got these 3 type of stencils in it, and I think I'm going to use this one and then flip it and try to make like a grid design down here on the bottom part of my page, and see if I can get that to work. Is it this one? It's this one right here. So I'm going to actually move these over, and confiscate this to use the back of it to do my stencil on. And we're going to go this way first. I do want to make a little marking though, where my house is going to be. So it's going to be from here to here, maybe here. Okay. Then we're just going to use some of this brown. Not sure if I'm going to go vintage photo. We'll go that first and see what that looks like. And if not, we'll go for another color, the darker espresso. And I guess I need to rub it in the way that this stencil goes, because this is a very thin, flimsy stencil. Okay. We're just wanting the impression. We don't have to have a exact on the nose looking kind of a grid down here. We're just wanting it to kind of, yeah, there we go. That's good. Heck, that'd make a good candy cane. Look at that. That's a great candy cane look to it. Oh, what is that? My hair's fell out. Okay. So let me match that up there and go over to there. See, is that right? There we go. Now, I'm sure they had the same kind of a grid or fence or something that they put under their house so it keep the critters out. And it doesn't have to be all the way around, over, because it's actually going to, there, I'll flip it over. It's actually going to be some stairs there in the center. Oops, I gotta go that way. I got these stencils and thought, what can I do with those? They're nice geometric stencils, so they could go for a lot of different uses. Well, that works for me. Look at that. I'll hold it up here in just a second when I get this other side done and let you see how well that kind of looks. But to the story of Mom and her little bedroom. What happened is they would go in there at night, turn off her light, and they'd go in the other room and play cards to the right of her in the dining room. Well, it turns out every time they turned that light off, she would hear breathing, heavy breathing. See how that turned out? It gives sort of a grid design. I like that. Okay. Yes, every time. So she woke up and was kind of screaming and crying, and everybody come in trying to figure out what was going on. And she says, I heard somebody breathing. Is there somebody in here with me? And they said, no, you're just hearing things. It's the old house. You probably heard something outside. Well, they turn the light off, go back in the dining room, and as soon as that light was off, she hears it again. And they come back in several times. And I think they finally said that possibly somebody had died in the room. But she says it would come from underneath the stairs, this heavy breathing. So, more about that later. Ooh. Okay. My idea here is that I want to put this to where I can do tucks on either side. It wasn't going to have much use as a scrapbooking page. And then when I was putting this together, this is a nice piece of sort of cardstock that had the wood grain on it. So I'm going to make it 2 little pockets on each side. I'm not going to go in too far. I don't want to mess up the idea of a house. So I'll do it like that. And it's trying to match it up about right on each side. Well, okay. Those pieces are flying all over. All right. We may want to give it a little bit of ink because, It gives it an old appearance. I like this wood grain though, because it already gives it sort of that look, and it'll help us frame out the bottom and sides here. We're not going to do the top because, yeah, we are going to do the top because you got the overhang of the roof, and you want to give it the impression that it's in shadow. That's right. We got to think of our building and the sun and the shade. It may be at night, who knows. Mom had to get up early to go feed the cows and milk them, so she probably got up at the crack of dawn anyhow. All right, so I believe what I'm going to do first is try to get this as center as possible so it's in that fold. Let's see if we can. Yeah, that's as good as it's going to get, so let's just go down with it. All right. Going to glue this first, and we're gluing our edges because we want to have a pocket. And look, I just went way up there with the glue. I'm not a good gluer, that's for sure. I hope everybody is doing well today and having a good crafting session, or just watching videos to inspire you, which I hope that's what I do with the people that watch me, my subscribers and my ones that catch me on YouTube in searches. Okay, I'm doing it like that, and I may just put a little piece of glue here and here, just a little bit. All right, we're going to go down with this right there. Try to get it in my crease as well as possible. Then we're going to fold it and make sure it's in the crease. And what you could do is use this fine ruler to push it back in there and make sure that's where it's at. So then we're going to go down, push down really good once we know it's kind of in that crease. There we go. Now our next step will be, I'm going to just go ahead and do the roof and get him out of the way. Now this one I did not ink, but I've got a little bit left on here, so that'll do this part right there. A little bit on the sides. The top doesn't need it. All right, so my roof is going to go down here, and it was to stick over a little bit from, yeah, okay. It was to stick over just a little bit. Now this is going down completely. I don't think we're going to do any, well, I just don't know. Should I make a tuck on the top of it? No, I'm not going to. I'm already going to have a little place where you can put a picture in the railing. So we're just going to go with that and not worry about this being another area to put anything. Now you can, if you do your little house and you chose to make another tuck or a long, like a long pocket coming in this way, you could do that too. Now I'm going to put him down where he is, and then I'm going to have to fold it and make sure. I had to come over this way a little bit because my house is that way. But I don't think it'll hurt anything to have that sticking off. Okay, now let me go ahead and fold it. Make sure it's working for me. Yeah, where's my bone folder? It's way over here. Okay. Go ahead and do a little bit of folding. There we go. Now we're going to get in here and put our piece of roof. And we're going to, I tell you what, we're just going to make little single windows for up here. That's all I'm going to worry with. As long as the bottom and my other under flaps that I'm going to do on the other side is correct, because that's where the basis of this story is. And I was trying to get Mom to help me with the layout of the house the other day. We went out, and I was grilling her. You know how you have to grill them sometimes. and she was drawing it on the napkin when we went to eat at Red Lobster. So we went and got it figured out pretty much how it was situated. And tell you the truth, I would like to cut this on my seam. I do not want to leave it a solid piece. Okay, I think that'll work, because that's going to help it bend a whole lot better. And we're going to probably put a little window right there in that dead center, so that might help hide that. And this window is made on just regular copy paper, so it's not going to be a thickness like this cardstock is. All right, now we're going to go ahead and cut on our little window here and get that situated and out of the way. And I'm going to just cut it down. I love old houses, and I love the spiral staircases that you see, and there's so many characteristics to them that are just, they're really neat. Now with this little window, if you chose to use some, what do you call that? I've got it over there. Glossy accents. Yeah, you could put you some glossy accents on these and make it look like a shiny window. You could also color it like blue, like it's reflecting the sky, that sort of thing. Let's see, I only need 2 windows for down below. I've got all kinds of, oh, I needed a couple windows for the back side. But I've got 3 for the top, so that's what we're using right now. And I'm going to go ahead and finish these 2 windows and get back with you in just a second. If you're wondering where I got these windows, what I did is I took one of those chipboard windows from the pack that you can get from Tim Holtz, and I put it on my scanner over here, and I shrunk it. And I shrunk it to the size that I knew I needed for this house. But anyhow, I found this. It's just, they call it a Zig photo twin marker. And I'm going to just use it to give the impression that the sky is kind of shining on this window. So I'll do that for all 3 of them, just to give it some look and take your eye from seeing the boards underneath. Okay, there we go. So that's what the little windows look like so far. And our roof line is done. All of that is done. So what is next? We have these items will go on the back side. This, though, and these 2 need to go on the front. And they need to go down first before we put our railing. So let me trim around the outside of these. And I'm going to just glue all 3 of these things down. So I'll be back to do the railing in just a second. Okay, I have that down. And now what I need to do is make me some stairs. And I also need to do trim. So I think these 3 stairs will work. And I use another one of the Zig markers. And the color, where's the color? Meadows. To make a little bit of a shade under the stairs. So we're going to put that here. And we're also going to do it so we've got sort of a, what do you call it? Like a peripheral vision, like you can see it going off in the distance. See, we're going to make the little bit of a stair step design there. Can you see that? So we're going to come down off of this one and do the same. And you can play with the way you do these things to make it look like it's, well, I didn't do that one enough. To make it look like it's got that distance going off. Okay, let me see if that will work. Yeah, that'll work. And what we're going to do is also make us a little line because we just created the step. There we go. That looks better to me. Put a little line there, a little line there. This is a really old house, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And I don't know if I told you why I chose this paper. It looks like the old tar paper that used to be on the roofs to me, or on the side of the buildings. So this is to go here. And then we also, I don't know if we want to go ahead and try to make us a porch with what little boards I have left, or maybe just a solid piece of something. Maybe I'll go with a solid piece. That'll be easier. Let me go find out. All right, I picked the same piece of paper that I had made the railing out of. So that'll work out just right. It'll be just like it's the same wood that they made the rail with, that they made the base of their porch with. And I don't know that we're going to worry about lines or anything, but you could, well, I don't think that end works, but you could do like little lines or something, like it's little porch boards kind of a thing if you wanted. I don't think that much of mine's going to show, so I'm not going to worry that much with it. I'm not sure where my rail is coming in here at. Oh, but I do want to finish off my porch with this because I believe it will look like the finishing boards at the edge of your porch. And I'm going to cut it right there because I had a little boo-boo. So I'm going to do it like that. And come right across. Well, it's fighting me. It's fighting me. So here's another piece. Nope, wrong way. So we're going to come over to here and cut it. And I'm going to do one down here, and I'm going to do one up there, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're going to put our stairs down first because we're going to use that to guide us on how to put our rails on. Because I believe it goes right underneath of your rails. Or right above your rail. Well, something like that. I'll show you in a minute. Oh, I'm all confused. Okay, so I'm going to put our stairs here. Oh, I did it again. I forgot to cut that. I'm always trying to cut these so you don't have that messing up your fold. There we go. I'm moving that over just a tad. And the same for this. I think I'm crooked. Okay. There we go. I believe I was a little crooked on this one as well. So let me get in there and trim that. don't do as I do. Do it beforehand. Okay, let me mash that down. Make sure it's burnished. And that means hopefully that it's folded and staying there. Now, my rails are going to go right above that. And they have to match up here at the top. And don't really want to cover up my cute little door. But I guess it's going to be right there on the edge of it. I guess that's the way you would see it on a porch anyway. It's going to be slightly covered up. So we'll go with it. All right. So what we're wanting to do here is only glue the outside poles. And maybe the bottom. Because we don't want our stuff to fall out. I'm assuming I'm going to use this for like a pocket for a photo. Also, more photos could be put in there. Okay, let's go up here to the top and match up. And I'm sort of covering up my edge there. So I'm going to come over just a little bit more. And so I can at least see my little notch. And that'll give me, yeah, just so you see that little bit will give you the impression you know you've got an area to put something. There we go. That's going down. That's going down. Do the same on this one. Okay. We're going to do the same. I'm going to start with the notch side first. Just so. I know this one will be just about right. Okay. Good. I can still see my doorknob. Excellent. All right. I have a little bit of a fix to do there. But other than that, the front is done. You're going to have your two slots here for pictures to go into on either side. You have a slot here for a little narrow photo. Something that you might want... Oh, I didn't push that down hard enough. Something you might want to show to give it more character. Make sure my bottom edge is down nice. There we go. And I'm going to figure out what I need to do for the back side. But there's the front of our house.